Yes, people, good morning. The time is currently just coming up to 20 past 8, and following the recent success of my previous POV style videos, I thought I would bring to you guys a more of an uncut, raw footage, in-depth version of a POV style video. Today is the day just after an evening match, so I'm waking up a little bit later than usual. It's a bit more of a chilled out vibe, so I thought it's the perfect time to take you guys through with me on my day, show you what I'm doing whilst it's a bit more of a chill vibe. I'm less rushing about, and I can explain things in full detail and basically just give you a truthful insight into what my life is like as a 17-year-old aspiring footballer in full-time education, and obviously doing YouTube part-time as well. And as you guys know, part of my routine is using my Whoop band. I check just how my body is feeling. So right now I'm going to review yesterday basically. It'll be good just to check up my body, see how I'm feeling, give me a bit of an insight on how I'm going to be feeling today. And of course, best way to start the day, get off to a good start, is to make your bed. Really, really easy task. Yeah, that's going to do me. Don't need it looking all fancy like a hotel would. Going to get changed now. I'm going to catch you downstairs, where I'm going to continue taking you guys along with me through my day. So let's go. So people, it's still quite early in the morning, just out of bed and got changed. And typically I would do a skipping session in the mornings, but today is a bit more of a restorative day, so skipping that. And what I do to start a lot of my days is I have obviously a drink, but instead of just having water, I put in some electrolytes, creatine in here. And these are just so important, maintaining electrolyte balances in your body, keeping the levels of magnesium, potassium, sodium. You want to keep those levels all balanced in your body as an athlete, and it plays such a crucial role in hydration as well. And then obviously here's some creatine as well. You probably heard so much stuff about this online, but the truth is pretty much every high level footballer will be advised to be taking creatine. And the main reason being is it helps a lot with how quickly you can get glycogen resynthesized back in your muscles after intense activity, which is of course really, really important as a footballer. I thought I'd just get myself outside because it is actually quite sunny this morning. And morning sunlight is also another thing should be doing. So whilst I drink, might as well give you a tour of the garden. Currently we have a paddling pool, which we have emptied the pond into. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, but yeah, it looks interesting. But yeah, currently the garden is under construction. It used to, believe it or not, be a slope all the way down to the bottom. You might have seen it on some of my previous videos. But yeah, we've got a new garden shed, a bench, a ridiculous amount of mirrors. Yeah, I think my parents are going through a bit of a crisis there, but we just sit down, admire the garden, or well, building site at the moment. Gonna finish off this drink whilst getting our morning sunlight in, and then I'll catch you inside for an important giveaway announcement, which we will be doing. Obviously, we have hit 10,000 subscribers, which is honestly insane, and the growth isn't slowing down. So if you would have been a follower of the channel for a while, you would know that I've been an avid wearer of the Whoop band, and this is actually the 5.0, which I recently ordered. Been on Whoop for about 2 years, started off at the 4.0, then they recently did an upgraded version, the 5.0, which I purchased. But with the 5.0, you can actually gift your old 4.0 to someone. So I thought, we've hit 10,000 subscribers, this is a perfect opportunity to do a giveaway. So I'm able to gift my 4.0 for a 2-month free trial to someone. So if you're interested, let me know in the comments. Comment Whoop, message me on Instagram, anything like that. And I'm going to pick one person to send this 4.0 gift pack to. So now then, just going to do a little bit of recovery. You guys have probably seen me do this loads of times on the channel before, but I am all for it, especially in the mornings. We're going to do an Astro session in a bit as well. So this is just going to get my body activated, get my body moving early on in the day. Now, typically I do a recovery session like this actually later on in the day after my football session. But because of the recent amount of load I've been having, I obviously didn't do my skipping this morning, which I would usually do. So I just thought I'd fit this in now, and it will allow me to do my football session and then won't have to do anything after that. But I just feel like a sort of full body MOT like this is really, really important. So I'll show you, I guess, some of my favourite stretches and things to do. But I sort of like target a lot of the key areas. Obviously here are the hamstrings. So one leg in front, other leg down like this, and you just sort of get your head over your knee and really push down, and you can feel a deep stretch. Another one I like to do is one leg in front of the other, just like this, and then you sort of lean over. Again, head over your knee, and some people can sort of barely go any further than this, but for a lot of work, I can sort of pretty much touch the floor. So doing this on both sides for a bit really helps out. Again, I would usually hold these positions for longer, but I'm just showing you guys. And then another thing I really like to utilize are these. This is just a massage gun. I've had this for over a year now, actually. So yeah, I really like these just to get into the calves, especially. So I sort of hold it in this position as well, and quads as well. I feel like you can really dig in deep. And foam rolling anything on the front is quite difficult, so having a massage gun for these areas I find is really good as well. But again, all of the added extras, like the massage guns, like the vibrating foam rollers, you know, they're not essential, but they're one of those things that instead of investing £200 in a pair of trainers like some of you might do, I'd invest £200 in what at the time was top of the range massage gun. There's probably even better ones out there now. But it's all just about making those smart decisions and thinking what's going to benefit me more, a pair of designer trainers or a top of the range massage gun. And if you are serious about football, then I think the answer to that question is pretty obvious. And this is the foam roller I have. Some of you guys probably seen this before as well. Just a vibrating foam roller. Again, having both of these probably isn't necessary. Is it going to benefit you? Yes. But I just find the vibrating foam rollers just help to get into the areas even more. And I like them both for different things. I think for my calves, I really like the foam roller because I can sort of hit a spot and put more weight into it. But for anything on my front, as I said, the massage guns are really good. Sort of 20-25 minutes hitting the areas that needed. If you guys have been a follower of my channel for a while, you know I also keep something called a body diary. So at the end of every day, I'll note down any areas that feel tight, any areas that I've perhaps overexerted or done a lot of work on throughout the week. And then in these sessions, I will really focus on those areas specifically. So if, let's say, my calves are tight, I'll spend an extra few minutes, extra few stretches on my calves to make sure they don't build up into an actual issue. So that's something I do as well. But yeah, quick 20-25 minute blast, full body MOT, pretty much daily, to be honest, is what I find works really well for me. So then people, it is time for the first meal of the day, and I'm happy because I am absolutely ravenous this morning. So I'm going to take you through my signature breakfast, which has actually changed a little bit recently. So those of you who watch the channel for a while, stay tuned because you're going to see a couple of the different changes I've had just to make this breakfast even more optimal. So yeah, let's get into it. Gonna need a bowl, of course, a big bowl because we are hungry today. So then we've got all of our ingredients now. I'm going to start off with the yogurt, get a decent volume out of it as well. And these pots, 450 grams, are exactly what I need, so it just saves everything else. So this whole pot has like 200 calories and 45 grams of protein, which is incredible really. In here, we're going to add some of our granola. Now, this is the one that I've been using a lot. Organic granola, just really good stuff. Carbohydrates, healthy fats. So put a bit of this in. And then the new ingredient, which I haven't shown you guys before on the channel, is these. So you can find these in Waitrose. They're called grape nuts, but they're basically, again, pure carbohydrate. But they're very similar to granola, and they just add that crunch as well. So these are a real go-to of mine. And then, as always, if you're a follower of the channel for a while, you will know how lucky I am with this organic honey I'm able to get all the way from Poland, I believe. So just a little bit of this, add a bit of sweetness, extra carbohydrate. If you're a follower of the channel, as I keep on saying, you will know all about this sort of stuff. So we'll give this a little mix. This is always the hardest bit, try not to throw any granola off the edge on the floor. Then you've got to get the hoover out. And if you don't already know, blueberries actually one of the fruits with the best micronutrient profile out there. Obviously, all fruits are good, so just eat fruit, but blueberries one of the best. Also, one of the highest in antioxidants, which is really crucial for recovery, inflammation, all of that sort of stuff. Add a bunch of these, and then just a few raspberries. Not as big a fan of raspberries. I still love them, but they don't come close to blueberries, which are the overall goat. In terms of a drink, I think I'm just going to go with some plain old bog standard water. And of course, we will tidy up after ourselves. These are the things you don't see that I said I'm going to include in this more open style. Just showing you guys what a true day in the life looks like. I don't have personal servants doing all this stuff for me. I am a regular human being at the end of the day. Where did this go? It's not like this. Grab a straw. Is it just me? Whenever you open the fridge to do anything and you see like open packet of fruit like strawberries, you just have to grab one. It's just rude if you don't. Ignore the obnoxious amount of eggs, by the way. We're really lucky because there's a farm literally around the corner which sells eggs at a pretty decent price. So these are all organic and they're absolutely giant, by the way. Don't want to waffle for too long. Gonna enjoy this, and I'll see you once I finish this, whatever I'm up to then. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take you guys for a bit of studying how I do my schoolwork, because obviously, as you guys know, I'm actually in full-time education. But first, being a more of an open style video, giving you a true insight on my life, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a room tour. Starting off, just got a few Nike boxes, really quite boring actually, but these obviously just got from football boots, trainers, whatever, and I keep them when I'm doing a bit of filming, getting a few shots, especially for my YouTube shorts. Instead of setting up a tripod every time, I'll just use one of these boxes, flat surface, put on my bed. On the windowsill, got a bunch of different books, some bin bags, because I do empty the bins in my house. That is one of my weekly jobs, so just having them there is easiest. Some resistance bands whenever I need to do a bit of strengthening, whatever. Some GoPro stuff. This laundry here does need sorting. That will be next on the list. And then, as you guys know, I do love a dressing gown. So this is just here. Usually when I come home from training, I'll come straight in here, grab a dressing gown, go have a shower. So I usually just leave these out. And then the sacred, if you've watched my channel for a while, you would know Percy Pig slippers, absolute no joke, best slippers around. Not sponsored by them, but Percy Pigs, if you want to sponsor me for your slippers, I am more than happy. And then this is where all the work gets done. This is my desk, nothing too special, mouse pads. If you do YouTube, having one of these side scroll wheels is so key because it just obviously helps you move across your timeline. So if you haven't already and you do YouTube or video editing, big cheat code is to get a mouse with one of them. Ignore all of this footage here. This is just part of the job. In terms of what's on my desk, got this box from Whoop. This is just my blue light blocking glasses. I just keep them here so I don't forget. If I get home from training and I'm doing a bit of work on my computer, I'll just whack these on when it's a bit later in the day. Probably wondering why I have got two earphones cases, and to be honest, it is a good question. The reason being, I actually thought I lost these because I couldn't find the case for a while, so I ended up buying the newest version. And these things are sick, by the way. They have a screen on them where you can see the battery, you can change modes on them, different sort of music modes if you want pop or jazz. I just usually use the same one. It's got timer, light levels, language. I thought I lost these, but they were just in the bottom of one of my endless amounts of Nike bags. So I ended up finding these, so now I've just got 2 pairs just in case I forget to charge one. These are the better ones. These are just the really old, like you can tell even the case is a bit cracked. I've had these for over 2 years now, I think. Obviously, ginger kombucha, if you guys don't know about this, I've already drank half of it because I'm an absolute fiend, in fact. Might as well have a bit more. This here is an absolute cheat code. It's basically, I don't use it often, but it is micro mist. Essentially, this goes in your nose, and this fluid in here is similar to like Vicks VapoRub sort of thing. But I have it next to my bed because in case you wake up with like a blocked nose and you just want to get rid of that and go back to bed quickly. Obviously, it doesn't happen often, but one spray in each nostril of this, and you are good to go for the rest of the night. It just helps in case you've woken up with a dry throat or whatever. Here, got my lamp. Usually, I just point this upwards and I use it when it's a bit later on in the day just to have a little bit of light. And then got my Google here, and then here got obviously my laptop where all the work gets done, and I'll show you guys a bit of the schoolwork I've got to do. This here, if any of you actually know me personally, you will know I pretty much always has this on me. This is just basically a notepad that I use, and it's got so much things in here. I just write down all my thoughts, all my different plans, all my schoolwork is in here as well. You can see a ton of maths and things. I basically always have this on me, and it just means that if I have an idea pop in my head to do with YouTube or my football schedule, developing it for example, any sort of schoolwork or whatever, this literally just has absolutely everything in it. So I just always have this trusty pencil and a pen, obviously to write in here, pencil in case I've got any schoolwork, and then I've got a fancy pen here. Actually, it's not a fancy pen, it doesn't even work, but the reason I have it is because of this thing on the end. It allows me to basically use on the screen. So when I'm doing a lot of my maths work on my laptop, this is just what I use to draw. The laptop did actually come with a special pen for it. I didn't actually realize that that pen had batteries in it, so I didn't ever turn it off, and it ran out of battery in about a week. And it's been, I think, probably like 6 months since I've had this laptop, and I just have not been bothered to change the batteries. But this thing does the job. It works. Then of course I've got my charger for my Whoop 5.0, never know when you're going to need it. And then in terms of the schoolwork, if you don't already know, I am in the UK and I am in something called sixth form. So I've just turned 17. At the time of recording, we're currently in mid to early June, and I have my mocks coming up towards the end of June, start of July. So I've been revising for them. So I picked 3 subjects for my A levels in the UK. That's how you get assessed basically. And I do biology, PE, and maths. Obviously, I'm looking to go into like sports science or something like that afterwards. Biology and PE link well with that, and maths I'm just naturally quite good at. My brain just works in that way. I'm quite a logical thinker. But right now, we're actually going to do a little bit of biology revision. Go of all things, physics maths tutor. Not sponsored by them, but they just have a ton of useful resources. And I'm going to revise some of the stuff we did towards the start of the year. Carbohydrates. So I just go mark scheme. So I pull up question paper and mark scheme. Again, if you're not interested in this, feel free to skip ahead in the video. After this, I'm actually going to go down to the Astro and do a football session. So I'll put the time of the video where I'm onto that if you want to skip ahead, if you don't care about this stuff. But I know for some fellow students, I know there's a bunch of people around my age watching, this might actually be quite helpful. But essentially, I've got a template Google Doc I use. I don't know if you guys can see this fully. A question continue point. So once I finish doing this, I'll note in I have a question I've got to. I'll note down the rough percentage amount of this sheet I've completed, so that when it comes to me looking back through this, I know roughly how far I've got to it. Just helps. And then right at the end, I've got a difficulty rating out of 10, which I'll basically just put in, so that when I come to revise, obviously I'll usually pick things that have got a higher difficulty ranking, because obviously they'll just be more beneficial. And then for biology, the basic way I revise is I will look at all the exam questions on here. I'll answer the question in my notepads. Then once I've done the question, I'll take a look at the mark scheme. And then if there's any sort of misunderstanding or thing I need clarifying on, I will write it on this doc, similar to what I did yesterday. Co-transport, I needed a bit of clarification on. So I just wrote down what I misunderstood, how to answer it better, And then before every test, I'll essentially look through this. It just highlights exactly what I need to know, exactly what I needed to improve on. So I've planned I'm going to spend 40 minutes basically just going through this, working through some questions, see how far I get. Yeah, cue a quick time lapse and I'll catch you at the end of that. So then just finished off my revision. Here are the notes I made. I completed question 6, so the question continue point will be Q7. Rough percentage, only question 7 left, but 90% in. Difficulty ranking, it's usually one of my stronger topics, but obviously haven't really done much since the start of the year. I'll go over 4. The time is 7 past 11. We're going to be down at the Astro at around 12ish. I'm going to take you downstairs, show you what I'm going to eat before I go down to the Astro. Then I'll take you through getting ready, etc. So see you there. So then just getting ready to head down to the Astro now. Grab the boots from the airing cupboards. So yeah, I'm just going to show you guys exactly what I pack. Going down to the Astro. And another thing I've started doing recently is module dates. Before I do any sort of training session, which is moderate, high intensity, I'll always have these dates. But yeah, these are extremely good. Just give you that quick burst of energy that's going to take you through a session. A lot better than just having sweets or an energy drink or anything like that. So I'll numb these down as I'm sort of getting my bags ready. Really important to stay hydrated, especially when it's warm outside. And grab the trusty bag. God knows how many football sessions this bag has been with me for. He's a real warrior. All I actually really take is football boots, water. I've got a locker key in there, which is where I store all my footballs actually at the leisure centre. So that's all I need. There's cones in that bag at the leisure centre as well. Need to grab the car keys. And just look at her, absolute beauty, sitting in the sun. Toss that there. So yeah, just gonna drive down to the Astro now. We're actually gonna do a session. Gonna be 3 of us. Myself, Michael, who's one of my mates, appeared on the channel before. And yeah, it's just gonna be a bit of a technical session. So I'm gonna drive down there now, just waiting for Mumsy, because obviously still on a provisional license, will be passed soon. Just don't want to do too much high intensity fitness stuff because the legs are feeling quite heavy and we've got some important trials and training coming up soon. So nothing crazy strenuous, just a bunch of technical work, game realistic work. So yeah, gonna drive down there now and I'll see you down at the Astro. If you lot want to see a little water park vlog inside the leisure centre, let me know. We'll make it happen. I'll speak to you again. Right, Will? How's it going? Good, man. Of course I am, mate. More in the bag. I know, I need to get one. That's the next step.
I saw a drone on Amazon for like, it was like reduced from 900 to like 600.
Fair enough.
It looked like a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm...
If you know you've got a camera on your head, sort of let you know.
No, it's alright.
It's good though.
Yeah, I need to get one of the Ray-Bans, yeah. Right, boss. Oh, it just got 5 degrees hotter as soon as you walk on. Yeah, radiates off. Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we'll do some of that. I've got a new like one that we'll start with, just technical, high pace, 3 people. I think it'll be good. And then yeah, I was thinking could do just a few 1v1s. That usual triangle passing thing we do. Mate, my hamstrings after what was it, Thursday? Oh my god, Friday morning, my hamstrings were so sore. Mate, we were finished. It was boiling as well.
Gonna get next. Gonna get pink TM pose.
You seen they're releasing green ones? So basically, if I start on the ball, and then you go in that corner, you in that corner, I pass it into you, and then you now need to run to that side.
Yeah.
And then Will can either play it first time in, but obviously you need to judge Michael's movement, or if you take a touch, it's proper fizzed in. But then once you're there, you can play it to either me or Michael. So it's all reactive, so it depends where the ball goes. So if you play it into Michael, I've now got to move here, and then yeah, you can sort of dally on it or whatever, but it's all reactive. So if you play it into me, Will's now got to move quick, I might play it back into Michael, then you've got to move again. Fucking hell. Tell you what, we'll make it a little bit smaller because it's not meant to be much of a blow, it's more just like reactive.
Like with a pass, I'm guessing
Back
they
foot.
just help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, back foot, yeah.
But then again, your position off the cone's got to be good. If I'm right here, can't really play it to my back foot, can you?
Yeah, no. Yes. So obviously we start with 1-1-2, and then it's 3 1-2s and then the diag afterwards. Now you play once you play it back, then you play it back to him, and then you play. And then Alex plays it to me, you set it back to me. It's all one touch, it's all one touch. And then after the 2 sets, you move out. But ideally, every time you should be scanning every time you're on the move. So when you step out, you should do 1 scan, 2 sets.
Red. Red. Yellow. Yellow.
Shall we do a trigger? So like when you first touch the ball, then Will goes from the cone, or can it easily going straight away?
It's up to him. That's why I need to check my shoulder. Because he might come steaming in and then I can take a touch around him.
Okay.
Or he might go slow and then I've got time.
Okay. Right.
It's just these cones are sort of in a way when we're passing. Just have it as a rough, yeah.
Yeah, but that's his body shape though.
And it's my touch, because if you're right up my arse, I'd just take a touch around you.
Yeah, but you can change that though by getting a more forward on body shape when he receives the ball. Receive
Yeah.
on your left foot when you spin there, receive on the right, and you can be more face on with it. Spin.
Yeah, I'll defend. You're attacking, so you're there.
Yeah. Say the distances we're doing now with someone in the box.
Yeah.
As a defender, you never want the attacker facing forwards when you're in
Yeah.
the box. You see how quickly I close you down when you spin. That's why you got to get your fucking body in front straight away, facing towards. Otherwise, you're finished.
Good time. Good time.
Yes, people, so we are home after training now, all showered, and I'm going to show you an absolute game breaker meal that I've been having after the training sessions, high in carbs, high in protein, and great to refuel basically. So let's get into it. So we're going to start off with 8 rice cakes. And honestly, guys, I have these at least once a day because they're just a really good carbohydrate source. The only ingredient in them is whole grain rice and sea salt. And obviously, carbohydrates are so important as an athlete to stay topped up on those glycogen stores. Then a lot of you know already, 0% fat Greek yogurt, pretty much pure protein source, 10 grams of protein per 50 calories. And what you want to do is you actually want to layer and spread the yogurt onto here. And guys, do not knock it until you try it, because when you have the finished product with the fruit on top, it is honestly heavenly and a bit of a cheat code, to be honest, because it tastes like a dessert or something that you'd actively want to eat. But in matter of fact, you've got rice cakes, yogurt and fruit, 3 of the purest type of healthy foods you can get, and it's got exactly what you need in it. I'll show all the macros and calories and everything at the end once I've made it, but it's got everything you need in it as an athlete while still being incredibly tasty. And then what you do is you just put whatever fruit you fancy on top. So I'm also going to add some grapes. Again, don't knock it until you try it, and some blueberries as well. And another quick tip for you guys, if you didn't actually know, blueberries are the fruit with the best micronutrient profile out of all fruits. They're really high in something called antioxidants, which essentially really helps with recovery and making sure that after things like training sessions, the inflammation in your muscles is getting decreased, basically allowing you to recover faster and feel better for future sessions. And guys, this is something that's also really affordable from a calorie point of view. Depending on how much fruit and things you use, this meal will come out to about 400, 500 calories. Hence why it's really good if you're looking to improve your body composition, decrease body fat, etc. Okay then guys, so that is the final product. As you can see, I just sort of mixed and matched everything to have what I fancied at the time. But yeah, a real go-to of mine. I genuinely probably have this about once a day at the moment. But yeah, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this. I'll catch you in a bit. So it's currently 2 hours before I typically go to bed, and something I swear by is magnesium supplements. 2 hours before bed, it just helps sleep basically. So 2 of these, and these basically improve your quality of sleep, meaning that you can feel even more restored, even more recovered in the mornings, basically just optimizing performance. This is something I take religiously every night. If I'm on holiday, I'll bring them with me. That's how much I swear by them. It's not going to have the same effect on everyone. With my Whoop band, I can actually get insights on how magnesium affects my sleep for me personally. So obviously, as I said at the start of the video, if you guys want to jump on Whoop, then you guys can see for yourself just how important different supplements are for you. But yeah, 2 of these now, and I'll catch you in an hour or so when I'm preparing to go to bed, and I'll take you guys through everything I do in order to optimize my sleep. So with it being light in the UK, I actually have my blinds closed because it's just too bright for sleep outside. So having some pretty decent, they're not fully blackout blinds, but they do the job. They keep a lot of the light out, along with this, which is just normal face mask. So when it's especially light, I'll wear this, and that just helps me sleep. Also, if I'm napping during the day as well, just whack that on, it helps block out a lot of the light. But we will pick out a book. I always like to do a little bit of reading. If I have the time, to be honest, I don't read every single day. but if I do have the time, I do try and do a bit of reading because it helps shut your brain down. Obviously, it's that time before you go to bed without screens. Obviously, Alex Ferguson, very influential leader, can learn so much, especially linking it to football and life in general, life lessons. So, for example, I'm currently about halfway through the book, and something I learned. Obviously, Alex Ferguson's a very influential person, but he had never been given public speaking lessons, and he was sort of thrown a bit in the deep end when he had to do some public speaking. So it just shows that although somebody like Alex Ferguson, who obviously public speaking wise is incredible at the moment, but everybody has to start from somewhere, and being thrown in the deep end sometimes is the correct way to do it and the way that it has to be done. You can't always be fully prepared. So it's just things like that. You learn, you pick up, you might not in your head think, all right, I'm learning this and it's stored in my memory. It's just these things that you might pick up and then you will draw upon them without even realizing in the future. And it's going to help you with your own decision making, your own thought processes, and just lead to you being more successful in the future. And in terms of the other things I do to just optimize my sleep, giving a good window since you've last eaten to when you go to sleep, I find is really beneficial. It's not always possible if you are training late, for example. It's not always possible. Another thing is these, talk about them quite a lot on the channel, but these are my blue light blocking glasses, and I'll put these on 4 to 5 hours before going to bed, and they just block a lot of the harsh light that's going to stimulate your brain. So by wearing these, it just basically helps your brain shut down quicker. Another thing which is an absolute game changer, which is right in front of me, is actually this weighted blanket. Obviously it's hard to show on camera, but this thing is actually very heavy, and weighted blankets are proven just to help with sleep. Obviously it is the summer, so I don't have it every night when it's too warm, um, but a good weighted blanket is just proven to aid with sleep. Bit of a random one, but as an athlete, you just got to go to these lengths. It's not going to be too expensive. It's a good self-investment. It might boost your sleep by 1-2% each night, but that's what you got to do. You got to put your money towards things that are going to benefit you, benefit your performance. And the last thing I do, very briefly, just before I go to bed, is some things on my phone. So I'll plan my day tomorrow. I've got an app where I plan out my day block by block, what I'm going to be doing. It just helps keep you organized, keep you as productive as possible, make sure you're not missing out on anything, especially with somebody like me who's balancing school, football, and YouTube. All three of these take up a lot of time, a lot of thought. So it's more of a necessity, to be honest, than a sort of choice to be organised and stay on top of things. Because if I wasn't organised and I didn't do any sort of day planning, then everything would probably just fall apart. And what I also do on here is I do something I call a body diary. So I note down any areas that are feeling tight, might have small pains. As an athlete, you often have areas of pain, tightness. So by noting them down and checking them when I do a recovery session the next day, just means I can stay on top of those areas, do a bit of extra work on them to prevent them from building up and becoming an actual issue down the line. And the final thing I do, a bit of an exclusive, never share this on the channel, and it's a big secret of mine as to how I can stay so consistent and so disciplined day by day, hour by hour, is actually something I call a character rating. Now, it might seem a bit weird, a bit alien at first, but one thing that I found has really worked for me is throughout the day at different intervals, I will give myself a rating between 0 and 10 on how strong I feel of my own character. And this comprises of many different things, just how I'm feeling, positive, negative, how in control of my emotions I am, and just how myself I'm feeling. And I find that when the rating is high, i.e. 7 and above, obviously 10 being the worst possible, not feeling yourself whatsoever, being in a bad place. So I find that when the rating is high, I can then notice that trigger and then come up with a plan in order to get back on track, get back to the way I'm feeling, and then that will prevent me from going off track, taking steps backwards, doing things that aren't going to help me. So just being hyper aware and staying on top of your emotions, how you're feeling throughout the day, will allow you to recognize the triggers that will usually throw you off your day plan, throw you into a bad week, a bad rut. I just find is so beneficial and something that has honestly been an absolute game changer for me and something I swear by. But other than that, that is pretty much my full bedtime routine, everything I typically do. The time is currently 12 past 9, but it's all just about keeping a calm environment multiple hours before you go to bed, if possible. It's not always possible. I myself train some nights late on, so a lot of the things I mentioned are hard to put into place, but it's important that you don't just throw it all out the window and you try keep as consistent. And even if it is out of your control and you can't implement everything that you'd want to, trying to implement everything that you can and just making sure that you are doing your best at the end of the day to maximize on your sleep, because it is so important. But that is going to conclude the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's obviously very much a different one, bit of a test out for myself, whether you guys are actually interested in a bit more in depth of what I do, or whether the fast paced POV style videos are exactly what you guys want. So feel free to leave any feedback in the comments. But guys, I appreciate you if you stay to this. As always, you are a real one, and the support is much appreciated. We're growing like crazy. Not planning on stopping anytime soon. There's going to be a bunch of content. School's pretty much over now, so I'm going to be full-time football and YouTube throughout the whole summer, continuing to pump out loads of content. So I'll catch you in the next one.